It's a truly remarkable fact of American life. Nearly 90% of this country's winter produce is planted, grown, and harvested in a desert. But how can the Imperial Valley, one of the most arid places on Earth, supply such a bounty of fresh vegetables to people across our nation? The answer lies in a story of imagination, dedication, and cooperation that benefits all of us today and holds great promise for tomorrow. And it all begins with that essential natural element known as water.
This Imperial Valley, it's one large desert. It's obviously arid, very little rainfall. Fortunately, the Colorado River traveled this direction.
And as people have moved west and the Imperial Valley was discovered, some men had some thoughts about harnessing the potential that Colorado River would have for this area.
And that included my forefathers. They used horse and plow, and they dug the All-American Canal,
which brings water from across the desert to bring it into Imperial Valley.
The work that our forefathers put into this place to bring it from a desert to a beautiful garden, the amount of produce, the amount of food and bounty that this area produces is quite remarkable.
There's very few crops that won't grow in Imperial Valley. Probably the only crops that I can think of can't be grown would be coffee, kiwis, and possibly bananas.
If you're going to be in New York City and you order a Caesar salad in January, it's coming from the Colorado River. And I think most of us as farmers here are quite proud to be able to provide that bounty for our fellow Americans.
It's true. Without the water used to grow crops and raise cattle in the Imperial Valley, a grocery store produce counter in Pittsburgh might go empty. Or a meat market in Santa Fe could look like this.
A lot of people think farmers overuse the water, they're wasting water, when in reality they're not. Farmers are actually doing the best that they can to save as much water as possible. So the perception of consumers thinking farmers waste, that is not the case at all. We are trying to save as much water as we possibly can.
So I often hear that, ag uses 80% of California's water. Well, they have to ask themselves, is growing our food supply a beneficial use of water? We're trying to feed the nation. I would just hope that farmers aren't considered the bad guy. They're not labeled the enemy.
Without agriculture here, you'd be buying all your winter produce from possibly third world countries, and for our country's security, I think it's important that we grow our own food here.
Our goal is to use the right amount of water to produce the right amount of crop. We're not growing hot Cheetos. The crops that I grow, that our team grows here on this ranch is for the health of the population of the United States.
We use every drop of water efficiently. We do not waste any water.
So you have two types of agriculture. You have dry land ag and you have irrigated ag. When we have irrigated ag, there's a lot more precision. We've used drip systems, we've used sprinkler systems, micro sprinkler, overhead irrigation, tailwater recovery systems, automated irrigation systems. Now on my smartphone, I have a dozen apps, all tied to different soil monitoring and weather monitoring. And what this allows us to do is get more crop per drop.
The amount of water that we use to grow a head of lettuce 10 years ago versus today, the amount is so much less. And I think we strive 10 years from now to use less and less water, per acre, per head, per box, per pound. For us, years ago, it was a lot of water just kind of being spread out, flooded on a piece of ground. That's evolved. We have to be ready for new technology, be able to embrace that technology to conserve water.
Farmers of Imperial Valley have done a wonderful job of conservation.
Since 2003, Imperial Valley farmers have conserved more than 7.2 million acre-feet of water for transfer to urban areas in need. That's more than 2.3 trillion gallons.
So it's been a win-win for ag and also for the communities along the coast that don't have a lot of reliable water sources. We've really done above and beyond in conservation here in Imperial Valley.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in conservation. It just helps solidify to the general public that what we are trying to accomplish out here is to be as efficient as possible. We understand more than anyone how valuable the resource of water is.
To Imperial Valley farmers, the years ahead are energized by a central truth. When it comes to water use, we're all in this together.
We understand that urban areas may need some more water because of their growth. I believe there's a fair and balanced way to get this done, and I think farmers want to be part of the solution.
Yeah, it's important for farmers and agriculture to work together with the communities in other areas that need our water. There's roughly 180,000 people in Imperial Valley versus 40 million other people that use water on the river. So we understand we need to work with those folks, get water to them. In that way, we can both live peacefully.
I think farmers are the original environmentalists. We have to be good stewards of our land. We have an ever-increasing population. Every year, less arable acres are available. Cities continue to have urban sprawl and expand. So modern-day farmers are going to have to step up. We're going to have to continue to produce more with less.
Farmers will continue to do their best to come up with technology and different ways to save water.
I think it's very important is that for the American public to understand that we're actually growing medicine. In a day and age where we have major health issues that the country's dealing with, we're a bright light. We're a bright light that needs water to grow those crops and to grow that medicine.
I love my kids, my grandkids. I hope our family continues here. To be a farmer, you have to love what you do. You have to love the land. And if you take care of the land, it'll take care of you.
For cities, for communities, for families, and for agriculture across the Southwest, each wave of water channeled from the Colorado River is precious. Imperial Valley farmers will continue to pioneer its responsible use, efficient conservation, and collaborative allocation for generations to come. This message brought to you by the farmers and ranchers of Imperial Valley.